honourable member and the leader of the third party.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Speaker. And the PC caucus would like to thank all of their members of the House for your understanding. As we gather here today, there's a hole in our close-knit caucus. Mr. Speaker, it's not just a physical hole. You can see the flag-draped desk here amongst us. It's a reminder that one of our family members is missing and is missed. There's a hole in our hearts. The member for Calgary Greenway, Manmeet Singh Bhullar, was not just our colleague, he was a son, a husband, a brother, a friend, a confidant, a community leader, in the heart of the PC caucus. His death on Monday has left us heartbroken. Manny, or Mita, if you prefer, was first elected to this legislation in March 2008, but many of us in this House knew him long before. In the hours following his leaving us, we heard from some honourable members who told us they played sports with Manmeet, they went to school with him, they served on a community board with him, or campaigned with him long before he ran himself. I knew him when I arranged with him and the then Mayor Brian Kanye to declare the first ever Sikh Awareness Week in Calgary. Even then, years ago, and not far removed from his teenage years, Manmeet was inspiring young immigrants to dream big and be part of the solution. He passionately lectured them, believe me, passionately, to embrace Canada and recognize the rule of law, the only thing that protected their quality of life. At the same time, he was a fierce defender of the underdog and would not stand for the bullying of minorities. I remember him talking about getting taunted from switching from his turban to his helmet when he was playing high school football. Now, he did crack a bit of a sly smile when he thought about how he could settle his own scores on the football field. Lord help those who brought on Manmeet's ire. But he needed to clear the way for more modestly proportioned athletes to follow. In the Alberta legislature, the MLA for Calgary Greenway served on numerous committees and served as the Minister of Service Alberta, Human Service and Infrastructure. At the time of his first election, he was the youngest caucus member. Even then, he knew that Manmeet, the advocate and MLA, accomplished more in his short years than some will fulfill in a long, long lifetime. He was involved in helping so many people and organizations, and his philanthropy and advocacy knew no borders. Manmeet was not bound by the borders of Alberta or even Canada. Recently, he was on a personal mission to South Asia to find ways to protect persecuted Afghan minorities and refugees. Sometimes, heck, most of the time, I didn't even know where he was. And he made this trip at his own expense. We learned yesterday that 2 families from Afghanistan are now safe in the Punjab, thanks to Manmeet. I'd like to share some remembrances from our PC caucus members. The member for Calgary Lougheed will always remember Mita as a, quote, spiritual mountain of a man. He loved him like a brother, a very much younger, bigger brother, with a much more impressive beard. He particularly notes working side by side with Manmeet to secure assistance for the people of Nepal after its devastating earthquake. The member from Calgary Northwest laughs when she remembers how often he liked to point out that he watched her on TV since, as he said, he was a very young child. And she joked that this was his way of pointing out how much older she was than him, and how he always wanted her to sing the Channel 2 and 7 theme song. She has now admitted that she has never had the heart to confess to him that she didn't know all of the words. The member for Calgary West remembers Manmeet advocating fiercely for him when he decided to enter politics, and he remarked on the way that Manmeet had such a profound effect on any room, including this one that he walked into. Manmeet Bhullar never went anywhere unnoticed. The member for Grand Prairie Wapiti remembers 2 years of sitting beside Manmeet in this chamber and listening to him belt out "O Canada" with his powerful lungs. He says Manny was great at many things. Singing was not one of those things. And he smiles at the tone-deaf version of our national anthem that he endured on the front bench during that time. The member for Calgary-Fish Creek said that he had the honor of working with Manmeet in the community for just causes and through the mutual engagement in the rich fabric of diversity we are all blessed with in Alberta, long before he was honored to serve literally elbow to elbow with Manmeet as a legislative colleague, and he's grateful for the time he has shared working closely with him over the past 6 months. The member for Vermilion-Lloydminster remembers being told that his Movember mustache didn't compare to Manmeet's facial hair when Manmeet was 12 years old.
Yeah, that's true too.
He loved Manmeet's sense of humor and admired his energy. And finally, a message from the member from Calgary Southeast. Manny, I will miss our chats, your quiet wisdom, and your smile. It was so nice to meet you. We have heard that line a lot in the last few days. It was a hashtag trending on social media, and it gave Albertans a place to share some wonderful memories of our friend. I've picked out just a few. Since the news broke of Manmeet's passing, we have heard from current and former colleagues, members of the press gallery, constituents, family, and many members of this House. The PC caucus is most appreciative of all the kind words and wonderful descriptions of Mita. The anecdotes of precious memories of him and the insights of his character that we have seen and heard. A big man with a big heart, and even then, larger than life. A brother, best friend, hero, a passionate advocate for Alberta, a humanitarian, and apparently Manmeet gave the very best hugs. Yesterday, our caucus went to pay our respects to the Bhullar family, and it wasn't hard to see where Manmeet got his strength, his pride, and his courage. As they grieved, they told wonderful stories about the boy they loved and the man they were so proud of. As Manmeet would say, I've got this. His grandmother talked about how he always wanted her to tell her stories. He could never get enough of his grandmother's stories. It was only a week ago when he had to leave before one of her stories was finished, and she told us now that they will never get to finish it. And his unfinished story is perhaps the saddest thing in our hearts. Farewell, Mita. Thank you. Thank you for the time you gave us. Thank you for the inspiration. We loved you, and now it is up to us to continue the great work you have always done.
Honourable member, I'm pleased to say that one of my first remembrances of your peer was in my very novice days in this House, and apparently he had stood to ask a question, and I saw a shadow come over the room, and I wondered where it came from, and I then said, Honourable member, I'm sorry I didn't see you. And he looked at himself. He said, we really are going to have trouble with this new speaker from here on in. Our condolences to you and your peers in your party. I know that these members are